This week on Music Life with Mike, we've got an amazing show. I've got a good friend of mine, Henry Small, that's going to be here, and another good friend of mine, Matt Stanley. And you won't believe the weirdo instrument of the week. So check it out. It's going to be a nut house. That's the only way I can say it. It's going to be a nut house.
But I resent you sometimes. The phone's tapped. We're being watched, there's eyes on behind us. The information's all over the world. Hold on tight, take my hand. I give love on demand, desperations all over the world. You know that I adore you, but I resent you sometimes. Let me paint you a picture of a world full of excess while people are dying all over the world, all over the world. You know that I adore you, but I resent you sometimes. Oh, you know that I adore you. Oh, but I resent you.
My next guest is Henry Small, and I've known Henry for a really long time. Since I was 19, I moved to Kamloops, opened the music store. And I don't know if it's his, we've talked about this lots, European background and how he is just very straight up with everybody that I naturally enjoyed. But it's been a long time. We've worked on many things together, and I'm really excited to have you on this show. You started out playing music in New York. Is that right?
In college.
And with the Crane Symphony Orchestra, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, I played in the orchestra, but then I met a guy named Fred Surface who played guitar in the dormitory.
Okay.
And I used to hear him, and he loved the Beatles and, you know, the Animals and the groups of the day, mostly English. And I started singing along with him, and then guys would gradually come in and say, that sounds good, you know, you guys should start a band, which we did.
Did you sing a lot before this?
Never.
Never. So this is just a newfound voice.
Yeah, I'd sing along with the radio, you know, like everybody else. But and to be honest, I mean, the first 4 or 5 times I ever performed, I had my back to the audience because I was too shy.
You were shy.
Yeah. Well, the brusque, you know, out there kind of personality is really a protection.
Yeah.
You know,
well, you
more
know,
than anything else.
When I went to New York for the first time, I don't know if you remember, I phoned you.
I do. You phoned me.
And I was like, holy crap, this place is full of you. You've prepared me for this.
That's it. You said, thank you. Thanks, man. Because, like, I read these people. And, yeah, and New Yorkers are very upfront. They say what they think. And, you know, Western Canada wasn't quite prepared for that kind of directness, you know?
That's right, yeah. So you're at school at the Crane Symphony? What was the school called?
Crane School of Music.
Crane School of Music.
It was part of New York State University.
And you were playing violin, because that was your passion that you found?
Yes.
And then you found your singing, and then from there, how did it go?
I played a lot of fraternity parties throughout New York State. And I think it was Cornell University, Syracuse, I don't know. But I remember it was Cornell University. And a guy came up to me and he said, hi, my name's Davy John McLaughlin, and I play with a group called the Fendermen, who at that time had an instrumental minor hit called Mule Skinner Blues. Anyway, we talked for a while. He was a nice guy. And much later, a few months later, a year later, I don't remember, but I got this call from Calgary from Davy John McLaughlin, and he was managing a group called the Gainsborough Gallery, which was a popular band in Alberta at the time. And he said, do you want to come up? And I was out of school, and I had started another band, but I wasn't real happy with it. So I went and tried out, and that's what got me started in Calgary.
That got you into Canada?
Yes. We went to Quebec City. We formed this band called Scrublow Cane. Somebody knew a club owner in Quebec City.
Yeah.
And we went there for a 2-week engagement, and it turned into 7 months, 7 nights a week, plus a matinee for 4 hours on Sundays, along with the nighttime thing. So by the time we got out of there, we were pretty formidable as a band. It was a very exciting band. Probably live, the most exciting band I was ever in. If I knew that then, it was a wonderful band. And from there, we got managed by the Guess Who's manager. Saw us open for the Guess Who in Toronto. He saw us and wanted to manage us, and we ended up going to LA and recording.
Yeah, and then you got into Prism. How did that happen?
After Scrublow Cane was Small Wonder. We opened for Jeff Beck at Massey Hall. And there was a producer from Los Angeles, Joe Wizard, who had produced Helen Reddy and Boss Skaggs, Earth, Wind and Fire, that kind of thing. And he saw the band and went crazy and said, I'm going to fly you to LA and we're going to record and blah, blah, blah. And of course, at the time, you just go, yeah, whatever, man. Turned out to be true. So
oh, really? Yeah.
That's how we ended up in LA. So
don't just slough those things off sometimes.
No, I still do, but you never know. I mean, you just don't. You know, I had a friend that saw me play at a birthday party for my girlfriend at the time, and said, oh, you got to go to Mexico. You know, there's musicians down there that you'd be perfect for. Yeah, I didn't believe that either. I ended up in Mexico playing with these guys. So, you know, that's the way life works. You never know.
Yeah. It's something that I think has left a huge mark on Kamloops is music in the park. We had a very shortened period, sadly, a shortened period of music in the park, but also happy because some of those nights were some of the more magical nights of music in the park that I can remember. We've been involved with it for 23 years, I think, something like that, and it's been going 26 or 27 years.
I think we're on our 28th year this year.
28 years, yeah. So, and I remember the very beginning days where we'd have Jack Johnson doing Christian karaoke. Not the Jack Johnson, but Jack Johnson Christian karaoke on Sundays, and on Tuesdays we'd have the Kamloops Big
That was
Band.
Jack Ray.
Jack Ray. Oh, Jack Johnson, Jack Ray, you know.
Well, if Jack Ray actually watches this stuff,
he might be upset, yeah.
He might be a little upset.
It was Jack Ray. So I remember it was a real community kind of a thing that came together, and there was like, you know, maybe 50, 60 people that would come out those nights, and it really grew into a happening. You know, like we'd end up with thousands of people out in the park a lot of the nights. And it was funny, as an audiovisual company, we would go out and do these events, and they'd be all excited because they got 800 people to this really successful festival. And I'm thinking to myself, well, we're back home right now. This same night, we've probably got 2,000 people in the park every night for 62 nights straight. And I know that programming has been challenging sometimes, and you always strive to have something for everybody.
Yeah, I think the secret to it is to not hire people because of your taste. You have to think of the audience, and Kamloops has got a diversified audience. And so I tried to present something different from the night before every night, which can be challenging, yeah.
And I think we went out for breakfast one day to the plaza, and there was an Italian lady.
I wouldn't have gone with you unless you said you were buying. You know that. Well,
I said I was buying because, unbeknownst to you at the time, I'd stolen his Visa card. And I was sitting at breakfast, I was going, see this card? I'm going to buy you breakfast with this card. And then it turned out that I actually forgot my wallet at home that day. But that was kind of a fun day.
You'll notice I'm not laughing.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But the lady that was serving us, she'd gone down to the park the night before for the Italian traditional band, which actually came in as an Italian fusion jazz band.
Yes, and all the Italians in the audience went crazy. A guy actually jumped up on stage, an Italian man, and he said, up, 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 and he's trying to teach
him to play more, not jazz.
To play traditional Italian music. And at the time, I was horrified. I mean, it was like, oh my God, you know, we're going to have a riot here because all the Italians wanted to hear traditional music. Yeah. And that's what I thought the guy did.
Yeah. It was like distorted jazz accordion.
It certainly didn't sound Italian. Yeah. And I remember sitting out in the audience just freaking out because you want people to enjoy themselves, right? So there's always, even this year going down there, it's very hard to relax because you're responsible for people having fun. And if they're not having fun, and we've had more than a few of those nights.
We've had some doozies. We had one night that it was a guy with an acoustic guitar with a cable that he wouldn't let me plug in, and his microphone, and he was doing karaoke for Burning Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
And it was a huge night. It was like one of the biggest crowds ever. And everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Just thought it was just
It's shocking. I mean, you know, I bring in like Cuban jazz people, like great Cuban music. And then you got somebody comes in and does a Doors tune or something, and everybody goes crazy.
Goes nuts,
so that's what I mean. You try to, the point of music in the park was you try to please everybody through the course of the summer, but you're not going to please everybody every night.
No, and that's the beauty of music in the park. Yeah. And there's 76 shows going straight, so it's a huge undertaking to do. I have some of the things that you've done in Kamloops and around. Two River Junction. You were doing, when I first met you, you were basically doing the whole show.
Producing and directing the show, picking the music. You know, it was a challenge. And we created something that sold out couple of shows a night for 8 months.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Because we're lucky enough to have the Rocky Mountaineer
Yes.
call this Kamloops home.
Yeah.
That was like 600 people a night, 6 nights a week coming into our community.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing. And I remember sitting there and looking over at you, because I was doing lights and sound, and I looked over and you were on your head doing a headstand. Do you still do that?
Yeah. Every day. Every day.
And I think it was just to try to deal with me at the time.
No, dealing with you has never been difficult. It's only in the last few years where I find you to be difficult. But,
yeah, right.
no, I mean, we were a good team, and we created a lot of good stuff. First night was another thing.
First night.
Canada Day.
Canada Day, yeah, absolutely.
You know, there, along with music in the park, and there were so many things going on. I look back on it now and I go, how the hell did we do all of that? But
A way.
yeah, you find a way. I mean, I remember the first budget for music in the park, and the city insisted on 60 nights in a row. And I think the budget was $16,000, including
Everything.
sound, everything.
Yeah.
And I remember having people up there, you know, you had guys reading poetry. And I don't know how it got to what it got to, but you put your head down and do your best.
Yeah, it's good times now for sure. We were talking earlier, 28 years, you're morning guy on 98.3 with Stan. That's pretty amazing, waking up to you guys chatting about...
Well, we did the same thing we're doing right now. I mean, basically we talked, we made fun of everything, and had a good time. And Stan's in the hospital. We're really concerned about him, but he was a wonderful partner and is a wonderful friend to this day.
Yeah, we're all pulling for Stan. He's also a great DJ, and for years he just loves speakers and technology.
Oh yeah.
And I remember going into the radio station and we just talk speakers, and you'd be sitting there going like, oh, give me a break.
Well, yeah. I mean, you guys are tech guys. It just never really interested me.
Yeah, and then I also really like this picture for two reasons with Burton Cummings, as I know you've told me a few stories about Burton on the road. But the other reason I like this story is because first time I ever went over to your house and had dinner, I was 19 or 20, and you showed me, I don't think it was exactly that picture, but it was in that era. And it was just like a perfectly preserved, perfect picture, and I poured spaghetti sauce all over it. Do you remember that?
No. Thank God I don't.
And I was like, oh my God, I just ruined your picture.
I mean, I got 100 reasons not to like you, you know. I really do. But no, I don't remember that.
But that must have been fun times.
It was good. I mean, Burton, obviously, is an icon in Canada anyway. And I had the opportunity to play with him and sing duets, and a story that comes out of that. We were down in forget all the big shows. We were down in the Valley in L.A., and we went to this small club and got up and did a Righteous Brothers tune. I think you better try to find another man. We pushed each other, you know, we really did. And so that was great because it made me better, made him as good, you know, whatever. But I remember we got off the stage, this little tiny stage, and this guy came up to me and he had a Southern accent, and he said, man, he said, you sure can sing. And it turned out it was Delaney Bramlett, who at that time was Bonnie and Delaney. They were a huge act. George Harrison, Eric Clapton played with them. And I remember, oh my God. And he thought that I was great. And I remember feeling almost 5'5". You know?
Yeah, almost double height.
Yeah, but later on, and this is show business and idolatry, go to the bathroom, and I'm sitting at a urinal, standing, well, trying to stand. They're high for me, you know.
I get it.
And he's next to me, and he gets his thing caught in the zipper, and he's screaming.
What?
And they had to literally take him away in an ambulance.
Oh my God.
And I thought, boy, there's an idol for you.
Did you ask him why'd you keep going once you got it caught?
I never forgot that, and I thought, oh my God, you know, you want to be like somebody, you want to be that good, that known, that well known, and here he is with his pecker is stuck in his zipper.
Don't meet your idols.
Yeah, exactly. I met a few.
So I pulled out a few albums that you've had over the years, of course, Scribble O'Kane, and I didn't know about this one with John Entwistle. And I know you recorded with him quite a bit.
In England, yeah.
In England, at his castle. A couple Prism albums. I guess Small Wonder was a Scribble O'Kane album?
No, that's Small Wonder came after Scribble O'Kane. I'm impressed that you did all this.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons I did this was because of this album right here, Time. This is one of my favorite albums. I mentioned it with Matt's interview a little bit.
Yeah.
But you recorded this. We built a studio over on Columbia Street. And we had some amazing musicians, Raul Alcantara.
Yes, he's gone now.
I think Rod Bandura played on this one.
Ken Lawson actually played on
Ken
it.
Lawson.
Yeah.
Rod
played on oh, there's another one. There's another solo album that Rod played on. Anyway.
But these songs that you wrote,
they hold up. They hold up.
They're great. King of Fools is off that album. And when I work sound for you, and we're doing different shows, and we've done some really interesting shows where I've worked with other AV companies and other sound guys been standing around just watching you. Some of the comments are like, man, I haven't heard Henry sing for so long, or his vocals are great. And I always know that when I'm adjusting the boards, I have to turn down the input gain so you don't distort
the
input channel.
I always had a kind of a big voice, but you've always toned down the ego part of it by every time I got on stage. This was your trademark thing, was you'd have the microphone set so that it was about 2 feet above me.
Yeah,
so
at the 5 foot
I would
mark,
run out to the mic and I'd go, oh God.
Jeez,
and I'd have to get it down to my level. And you'd be out there just laughing and having a great time, which is why I took my key right across your white convertible.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Funny.
One of my favorite things is you play violin, and you always go, before you're about to sing, you adjust the mic up and down. I don't know if you're aware of this.
No, I'm not.
But you always do this, and then you sing, right? So I actually took that little screw out of the center of the yoke of the mic.
Yeah.
So when you adjusted it, it was at Heroes, I think, back when they had shows up there. You adjusted the mic and it came off in your hand.
Yeah.
So you're holding your violin.
Notice how you're laughing and I'm not.
It was.
Mike, you've stolen my car.
I stole your car,
After a gig, I go out to load my stuff in the car's gone.
To be fair, you had your keys in it just sitting there, so.
No, I had the keys on my amp, and you took them off.
Oh, yeah, I might have done that,
You've
too.
You've stolen my credit card.
Yeah. I borrowed it, yes.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You did. You took my keys twice or 3 times and walked away, put them in your pocket, forgot that you were playing a joke, and I was freaking out.
Yeah, I got a phone call like 3 hours later. I do remember. I feel bad about that.
Yeah.
I want to apologize for that. But you used to leave your keys everywhere. So
yeah, I still do.
You still do?
I still have no idea where anything is. So.
And I was getting gas, and I got this frantic phone call from you, and I was like, oh, they are in my pocket. Yeah, we've had some really fun times with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, fun. Yeah.
Also, when you're chatting on the mic and you're saying something I don't like, you're one of the few people that I'm okay with just muting.
Yeah, you do that too.
But it's been. I've been wanting to get you onto the show. You've been a huge supporter of the arts in Kamloops. What are you working on right now? You've got.
Well, I mean, we have COVID now, so after coming back from Mexico, where I was free to play every night, which I hadn't done in 30 years. You get good, you get good, and you want to keep that ball rolling. And so coming back, I've been playing out at Scotch Creek every week. I've had some other gigs that I played, with different people, Rod and Jeremy Nishaw. So
you opened up Music in the Park. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Music in the Park. So that's gone now because we're not able to play. So I'll probably spend this next period of time writing and just trying to keep my head together. Like most people, there's days where you go, what the hell's going on with the world? Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult. It's very, I mean, at the best of times, I haven't been the most stable person on you know what I mean? It's like, the world seems very, very dark. and doesn't seem to be letting up, and it's affecting people. So I would think, you know, I have this gut feeling I just want to do some music that maybe is inspirational and maybe make people feel pretty good about themselves, and listen to something that, I mean, you saw it at Music in the Park. Everybody hasn't seen live music for a year and a half, and everybody's having a great time, and you know, the beauty of COVID, if anything, for a musician, because it's destroyed people's lives and their ability not to work, and they can, you know, so people are more appreciative now, I think, when they hear and see live music. So that's one of the good things. But if it keeps getting shut down and then starts up and then shut down, so I mean, the only thing that I can do really is better myself and hopefully create some things that matter to people.
I think that's right on point. The people are really hungry for it, and
it's sad what's going on. I mean, it's sad for, I mean, my life is my life. I'm at the end of it. You have children, and I have a grandchild coming, and you know, my daughter just got
Whoa, hold
engaged.
on. Just stop for a second.
Yeah, well,
you have a grandchild coming? I didn't know about this.
I'm not going to tell you. You probably kidnap it and hold it ransom or something. You know? Yeah. I mean,
So-
you know, people always go, you know, being a grandparent is the greatest thing, and I spend so, and I always think, ugh. And then, you know, Michael sent me a video of the ultrasound where you hear the heartbeat.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard the heartbeat, it was like I felt this connection that I couldn't believe how it affected me.
You had
know?
this thing pumping and you were like, what's that?
You just feel instinctively that you're connected.
That's really cool.
And I thought, that surprised me, because being a grandfather has not been the goal of my life, but
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on and
No,
chatting.
you
I do.
don't.
I really
You had
do.
to fill time.
I actually, to be honest, I phoned everybody else. Nobody
And
else
nobody
could
came. I
came.
know how
and
you
I
work.
thought, well, maybe who would be good? Maybe, actually, I didn't even think of you. It was Dad that was like, try Henry. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, well, he wants
okay.
to. He just wanted somebody that was going to die before him. That's all. Make him feel good.
So I appreciate you coming out, and I hope that we have a little secret surprise in store for you with Matt. I think he's learned one of your tunes, and hopefully we'll hear that at the end of the show. And
Really?
That'll be
Do you
really
get
great.
paid for this? Does anybody pay me or?
Yes, don't worry, your payment is in the mail. It's already been mailed. It's good. So up next, we've got the Weirdo Instrument of the Week, and I can't wait to share with you what I found.
Oh yeah, go brush your tooth.
All right, for this week, I wanted to talk about the Weirdo Instrument of the Week. Isn't really that weird. It is the social instrument, the ukulele. Ukuleles came to be in the 1800s, and honestly, for years, I thought that ukuleles were just kids' toy instruments. And I didn't really quite understand what was going on with them, because every one that I played that we had in our family music store were just inexpensive ukuleles that never stayed in tune. And it wasn't until they started getting better and better that I realized actually they're tuned basically the same as the bottom four strings of a guitar, which means you can play those same chords as you would on a guitar. And then they started to gain in popularity, and they started coming out in all sorts of different shapes and sizes, like this guy right here, which is a banjolele, which is a drum head, and it's quite a different sound to, which is a very cool little instrument. And I realized that ukuleles, just in general, are so far all over the map that people buy them to just to hang out with each other a lot of the times. This is a acoustic bass ukulele. Which is really cool, and I started to fall in love with the idea of the design and how ukuleles are made. So I built a ukulele. This is one of the Riversong ukuleles that I built. And it's got a high G on it. And as a guitar player, I put a low G on it. And that was something that was quite common that a lot of ukulele people do, is that they put a low G so it sounds bigger and broader. And I was backstage at one of the award shows, I think it was the Grammy Awards, and the guy that produces all the music saw my ukulele back there, and he grabbed it, and he started to play it, and he loved the sound of it. But he said to me, he says, "Are you a guitar player?" And I was like, yeah. He goes, "Because you put a low G on it, you've ruined the ukulele." And I was like, what are you talking about? And kind of, what do you mean I ruined the ukulele? He goes, well, it's a melodic instrument. It's supposed to have that high G. So it's got that kind of a tone and feel to it, and it's bouncy. And you've put that low G on it like a guitar player would, and you've made it horrible. So I went back home and I built this. And there's a lot of creative license you can do with ukuleles. So this is a 5-string ukulele, and it's got the high G. And it's also got the low G. So it's got quite a different tone to it, and I could go between a melodic instrument and a more guitar-like instrument all out of one piece. And I thought that was pretty cool. You know, it inspires me to do something like this with ukulele. And when I start looking around at all the other variants that you have, from little sizes like the first one I played to the larger ukuleles, it's really a social instrument. People get together in large groups, play and sing together, and they have wine and cheese, and it is one of those cool instruments that there doesn't seem to be a normal, and everybody plays it is in the club. And that's what music's all about, is bringing people together. And the ukulele, in its weirdo-ness, really does that, brings people together. And that's the Weirdo Instrument of the Week, the ukulele. Coming up next, I've got a special performance with Henry Small and Matt Stanley playing one of Henry's songs. I'm really excited for it, and stay tuned for that coming up next. All right, so you heard from Matt Stanley at the start of the show, and I'm really excited to have him here. I've known him for a long time. We've actually had him on the show before, but I thought it would be a really great time to have you back, hear some of your new music that you're doing, and also talk about music lessons and stuff like that. And I've got my other good friend, Henry Small, right beside me, who is
just dying to say something.
Dying to say something, I know it, yeah. So, Matt, your song that you started the show off with, what was that song?
Well, that's a song called The Underdog. It was on the second album by my band, The Decoys, a few years back. And it's kind of just about the world and the craziness of it, and kind of where you find yourself in that. And I think it's just as suitable now, that's for sure.
Really?
No? I think so.
No, I think it's
so.
a good song. It was a great song, actually.
I enjoyed the...
What part did you enjoy, Mike?
I really liked the parts when you broke it down and you... I adore you. And then also talked about
I adore
Rosette.
you too, man.
Yeah,
That's why you like the vein.
The vein, yes. So what are you up to right now? We're in the middle of COVID. Obviously, things are getting shut down.
Yeah.
Are you writing still? What's going on?
Yeah, still writing and jamming with the Decoys, and we've been recording new material at our little studio at drummer Sean's place. And
Who's in the Decoys now?
Well, I think we're looking for our 23rd bass player at this point, so that's going to be good.
Is it a personality thing, or
I assume it's me.
Like you?
I seem to be the reoccurring factor. So
you guys have played together. So what is it, Henry?
I was always good. Always had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, always had a lot.
And
of
you
fun.
had me in the younger days too.
Yeah,
so.
you were like 20 years old or something. And how old are you now?
I'm 34 now.
And Everything I told you came true, didn't it?
Yeah.
Just say yes. It's
Yes,
okay.
yes, it's true.
Okay.
What's your nickname for Henry?
I don't think I have one.
Notre
Starts with an A, I think.
Notre Dame or something?
Notre Dame, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great. So you're recording with, so you got Sean Passant in your band?
Yeah, Sean Passant, who's, I think we put out the first Decoys record 10 years ago this year. So we've been playing together since then, and met here, working at Leeds Music, and many moons ago. And Chris Rustin is in the band as well, doing keys and
Yeah, man, he's
bass
great.
and guitar.
He's great. He's great.
He played at Music in the Park here last week, and just killed it. And it was really great to see concerts and people out there, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You were playing some shows with the North Shore Business Association, I think?
Yeah, I've been doing some solo kind of acoustic performances at different businesses around the North Shore over the summer, and that's been pretty cool. And
where do they have them? Where?
They've been doing them, well, it's been kind of like a patio thing, so various businesses around town, like Bright Eye and
Denny's.
Denny's, yes.
When would you ever think we'd talk about Denny's as being a venue? Yeah.
And what else? Poke Mahone I played at as well, and it's just been good to be out playing again. Just good to be out of the house, really.
Yeah. So you're gearing up for music lesson season again. It's starting up in September. We're doing virtual lessons and also doing in-person lessons. I thought this would be a really great opportunity to show sort of a warm-up that you like to do on the guitar.
Sure, yeah. Well, one thing I kind of show students usually the first day of lessons, in between, showing them Smoke on the Water and what have you, is doing just a little warm-up going up the frets. Just going with your first finger, your pointer finger on the first fret, starting up on the E, low E string, and going first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret, and doing each one with the individual finger. And then going down each string. And then going backwards. So on and so forth.
Are you giving lessons or taking?
Giving currently. But.
He also does drum lessons, bass lessons, ukulele lessons.
Yeah, like Matt's a great drummer. Seriously.
Yeah, I used to play drums for Henry first. Yeah.
I remember that. Remember we'd go out do sound for you guys, and it was...
well, Matt played, I didn't even know he played drums. He goes, I can play drums. So I said, okay, you're hired. And he played great.
So you're working on some new music. When's the new album going to come out?
Probably sometime next year, maybe. Yeah, we're about like halfway through, maybe. And then so we'll keep doing that and keep working and recording and writing and just put out as much as we can, because might as well.
Matt, do you have your stuff on all the different venues like Spotify and all that stuff?
It's on all the streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music and all that fun stuff.
And do people now have to make CDs, or do you just do single stuff, and if you're happy with it, you put it on? How does that work?
I think these days everybody's kind of releasing things digitally. Maybe they'll put out a little bit of like a few limited things of vinyl or something, but I think most of the time, we did CDs for our last kind of EP thing we put out, and Sean kept referring to them as glorified coasters. So perhaps the technology is gone, but I think there's still people that love the physical format. But it seems to be more of a vinyl thing these days.
I really like the physical format, and I have a bunch of actually they're your album Time on CDs. I have that as well. I had like 24 of them, so I just hung them up in my cherry tree.
Where are they?
It scares away all the birds.
I have none of them. I could use a few.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for coming on, and I hear that we have a special treat at the end of the show. Oh, hey, there's Yapitz there.
What, the dog?
It was a special treat at the end of the show. Henry's going to sing with you, just like old times. So it's going to be amazing. Watch for that at the end. And up next,
amazing.
We're going to have a good friend of mine, Henry Small.
Got a hole in my pocket, hole in my shoe,
holding my head, living the way I do, but I'm alright. Everything's cool. See, I'm royalty. I'm the king of fools. I don't live in no mansion, don't drive a Cadillac. All I got is faith and hope and the clothes on my bed. I'm alright. I don't feel poor. See, I'm royalty. I'm the king of fools. Say what you want, I know you will, but don't judge me, oh no, till you walk in my shoes. Till you walk in my shoes. Got a hole in my pocket, hole in my shoe, hole in my head, living the way I do, but I'm alright. Everything's cool. See, I'm royalty. I'm the king of fools. See, I'm royalty. I'm the king of fools. King of fools.